Welcome to the Mentor Studio, where today's thought leaders and leading entrepreneurs inspire and bring real-world ideas that help you take your career to levels you've only dreamed of. Now buckle in. Here's your host, Michael Silvers.
All right, fantastic. I wanted to welcome everybody today. My name is Michael Silvers. Yeah, I've got the headset on so I can move around. Everybody knows how that is with me. It is another installment of the Mentor Studio. I cannot believe it's September. Now, you could be listening to this 3 years from now and going, no, it's not September. And we won't talk about what's going on right now because everybody's heard about that on every podcast. And again, it's not going to mean as much in years to come. But there has been a shift, obviously, in 2020. It's great. I read some things that said, why did I buy my yearly calendar in 2020? But we've all learned to shift and do things differently and make a difference and a change in how we do business, which some of us already did. And this amazing woman on with me today, they had shifted part of their business already. So in a way, this became a natural transition. But the way she builds business and the way she looks at things from a higher perspective, this is going to be an amazing call today because she's also been on many stages and really transformed many, human beings and lives out there. So without any further ado, and I'm going to let her, what we call earn the right, because you guys know how I do it on the show. Let's give it up for Esther Wildenberg. Esther, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much. What else in sunny California? I'm not complaining.
No, I know. There's nothing to complain about. Hey, and I'm in sunny Seattle today, 75 degrees, and life is good. So, You never know, right? You never know. And you do live in a beautiful place in the world, but we won't tell everybody because then they'll come find you. So it's great to have you on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, and then we'll dive in.
Yeah, I will get my accent out of the way first. I'm from the Netherlands, born and raised in The Hague. My career was mostly in Amsterdam. So although I've been traveling around the world since I was 15 years old, I've seen all continents, many countries, many cultures, many languages. So I'm a world traveler, as they say. I met my wife, Sherry, 7 years ago in Amsterdam at a speaking engagement. And I bought her program. And I became a student, and then we fell in love. And then, as they say, the rest is history. So I live for actually since 2014, so 6 years now in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep
so
going.
That is just who I am. That is, I'm a Dutchie, so they're very direct. My career is very diverse. I don't want to jump too far back, but I started my career as a dentist. But I really never liked from day one, sometimes you please your parents and then you realize that's really not the way to go. Right. A lot of people do that because I didn't know what to do. And then, when I was in it, I'm not a quitter. So I finished it, but I already knew after year one that I didn't want to do it, but I still did 5 years of it. Get your degree and get started. But after 6 months, I ended up in a really bad accident. I just started my whole career as a dentist and then everything fell apart. A very long hospital stay, a wheelchair, 3 years out of business, out of life, out of everything. And it shifted my mindset, my way of looking at life. And I just wanted to do something fun. And I started to work in the fitness industry, working in gyms. I worked for Fitness First. They were global. I was a general manager, and then I thought, I'm not going to have my career in the fitness industry. I love working out, but that's really not my passion. I want to do a little bit more. And it's not a wrong industry, but not for me, right? So
right.
I ended up in corporate. I was one of the youngest CEOs in the Netherlands at a financial services company with 800 consultants. But I realized I'm really not a 9-to-5 person. I'm really not a corporate person. So I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so in 2008, when the market collapsed, I decided to build my own consulting company and be basically a broker for consultants in IT, finance, and HR to help them to work on projects. And at that time, there was a lot of outsourcing happening. Mm-hmm. And actually, I had a flourishing business in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And my other part of me started doing leadership retreats to Spain 4 times a year. So I had the business side and then more the satisfying side, fulfillment. I'm really helping people to step into their power and live their potential and, do that in a format of a week locked up with me. But I still do till today. So, So that's in a nutshell who I am.
And that's, it's great too, because you did, one thing that we talk about is sort of overcoming, or the things that happen in our life, and things come up all the time, but it's the decision you make afterwards. I tell a story of I coached, wow, it was a long time ago. Time as it gets bigger. It was 14 years ago. I coached an Olympic athlete, but her first career to get there was going to be in gymnastics, and she broke her back. So it was all those years of rehab, but never giving up the dream. So she did the things she could do. She went into beach volleyball and made the Sydney Olympics. But it's what is that decision that you're going to make, and then how are you going to get there? And that's what you did. You made a decision to continue on, because you could have easily, after that massive an injury and with that life, you could have just sheltered away and say, take care of me, I don't want to do this anymore. What pushed you, or what got you going again? What got you out there, and what kept you moving?
So when I was in the hospital, like I was at the ICU for a month, right? I had 2 near-death experiences. So that helped me to realize how beautiful life actually is, and that I was here for a bigger purpose than just, having a job. But you don't need a near-death experience to realize that there's a lot to get out of life. So getting out of it, I was 23 years old, and I realized I didn't want to end up just being like, this is life, and I'm not going to work. I cannot play sports. That all the doctors told me all those things, like you cannot play sports, you cannot have children, you cannot really work full time, you're going to be disabled the rest of your life. And I said, that's not going to happen in my life. You're not going to tell me what's going to happen in my life. I'm going to just write my own story. And I did. It was not easy, I'm telling you, because people by default go very easy in fear and anxiety. So my whole family and people around me were all like pushing me, no, you have to stay in bed. It's okay to not do this, and it's okay not to, and I like, go out of my way. It's not okay to not be okay. So I want to be okay. So I worked really hard. And actually at that point, when I was in the hospital, I started to reading a lot of books and do work really on personal development and becoming a better person and growing and evolving and learning from the masters out there. And it started right there in the hospital. So because I had so much time to think, like I needed some books to distract my brain and get in another mindset, and then take action as soon as I was going to get out of there and move into the world again. But it was 3 years. Like it was a long journey, trust me.
Yeah, that's very impressive actually, because that is a long journey, and you kept moving forward. Is there any one book or even podcast, but back then it was books. Is there any, by the way, for those of you who, books are the things we used to open up and have paper. But was there, what was one book or what was one thing that you read back then that really? The
first book I remember I was reading in the hospital that really stuck with me even until today was the 4 Agreements from Don Miguel Ruiz. Mm-hmm. And I still refer to it a lot because people take things so personal all the time. And I love that whole section about don't take things personal. And I think if we can learn that, then a lot of things become a lot easier. Like it creates confidence that when you're not attached to what people think or have to say about you, then just be you, and people like you and people don't like you, and it will happen the whole journey of your life, right? So I really love the book till today.
That's great. One thing, by the way, for those listening, Esther's been on major stages. I mean, what's the largest stage you've been on? In front of how many people?
Was together with Sherry was 20,000 people.
That's what so Esther's been on these major stages. And a lot of people have a fear of being in front of that many people and doing your business that way. And part of what you just said, though, is you have to get up there and you want to do the best for the audience, right? But you can't worry if they like you or don't like you. Can you talk a little bit about that, just being on stage and what that's like and how you get through some of that fear?
Now, it was not easy because as a child, I didn't even want to talk in the classroom. I never wanted to be in front of the room. I didn't want to raise my hand. Like, I was always like, don't pick me, don't pick me. And then, of course, it was like, tests that you had to do a presentation in front of the room, and I hated it. I had to get over that. It was not easy because I'm one of an identical twin, and my twin sister back in the day was way more outgoing than I was, and that totally turned around. I'm now the one on stage and the outgoing one, so that's an interesting story itself. But it has been a step-by-step process by doing the things you like I think that became the most important thing, that I love what I do, and the topic I talk about, I really own it. I live it. And there's not just to talk about it, because there are a lot of people who can talk great and great speakers, but they don't live what they actually have to share. And when you live it, then you automatically, it's your lifestyle. So that creates confidence. And I started with small rooms, 10, 15 people. But I'm telling you, 20,000 people is much easier than 15 people.
It really is, right?
Yeah, because 20,000 people, just this black area.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
It is. That's really funny you say that, because when you are, some people get more nervous even on a one-on-one, right? Because then there's that instant feedback.
All the energy is just focused,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I hear a lot of people say the same thing now with Zoom, right? It's because you're staring at yourself all the time. So now you have to really have to love yourself to be able to do presentations on Zoom right now, because you're so focused. Your energy is basically in a screen instead of when you're on stage, it's spread out, right? It's the energy is like very centered. So you have to be very comfortable with yourself to deliver something powerful online.
Right. And it's so true, you know, and we tell people too. And by the way, for those of you, you know, I'll let Esther give her contact information later, but, you know, she can powerfully not only take you from where you are to where you want to go, but she's been in so many different businesses that she understands what it's like being an author, being on stage, you know, how to communicate. How many Zoom calls are you doing a week? I don't even know, but it's, you know, and you're doing trainings for thousands and thousands. So, you know, Esther's somebody you definitely want to work with and you want to get to know better. And at the same time, it's when you're doing these Zooms, we get this all the time, right? When you're doing a Zoom, people, you can move. It's okay to move. Well, they don't like when I say I move around. Move. Because what happens if you're static there, you ever been in school, like university, and a professor doesn't move, right? And they just read from the book? You don't want that. You want people to have motion and movement. Pretend you're Italian, if nothing else. Like, you know, right? Move around, move with your hands. Really make it fun for the audience. And that's really huge nowadays. That's just a tidbit. So, Esther, one thing I always like from the you know, our audience at the Mentor Studios, what are 3 things that they can do right now, whether it's in business or life or working out, whatever it is? What are 3 things they can take away from this call if they took nothing else away from this call and they could use it today?
You know, I realized over the years with such a busy company and the things we do, like this morning I had my first call at 7 a.m. with Dubai. So my days are long and we have a newborn. So it's like
right.
around that too.
And congratulations on the newborn, by the way. Yes.
Yeah, he's very cute. But I think every mom says that.
That's okay.
Yeah, at least it's healthy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What I learned along the way, I have a great day if I start with, I call it Esther time. And my Esther time, the best time I do is I have to be outside in nature. So I live in Laguna Beach. I just go to the beach with my dog, Polo, and I do my beach walk, play with her. She's swimming and do my meditation. And then I come home, do my Peloton bike. So most of the time I also read about 10, 15 minutes. Can be a book, can be something I research or... and then hot shower and get dressed nicely. I don't want to hang out in my shorts and t-shirt and, you know, just camping out in my home. I just want to look still nice behind my desk. So for me, what I suggest is that you start with you time, right? Take time for yourself, go outside, meditate, exercise, even if just walking your dog. And if you don't have a pet, just walk up and down the street or go to a park or wherever you live. Outside sets you up for the right energy. And, you know, that's so important. Most people don't create that time in their schedule. Like, you know, I told Sherry, normally I don't do any calls before 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because if I don't take my time, then I never get it at the end of the day. That never happened. So today, we're starting at 7 a.m. I already know I'm going to end this day with no Esther time.
Right.
So, and that's okay when it's a day, but, you know, I really try to build it in every day. So that's 1. 2, and that's probably my Dutch opinion, is like speak your truth at all times, because that makes life a lot easier. You're not here to be liked and loved by the whole world, but when you speak your truth, you're respected. That doesn't mean they're all going to do business with you or all going to hang out with you. And that's not, you don't want that anyway. But when you're very authentic, vulnerable, speak your truth, show up the same at work as at home, show up the same on stage as off stage, that is one of the key things you can do right away. Like how you show up on Zoom or on social media, or when you meet people maybe in person right now again, then that is so key. Be just you, and your story is who you are. So you own your story. Whatever happened in your life, that is you, and that's who you became through the years, and that's who you are right now today. And you have to be proud of that, because if you cannot own your own story, then you can never attract people to work with and expect that they're gonna be the ones sharing everything about their life. And that's where the real connection happens and where long-term relationships happen. So that are some very important things for me in my life.
Yeah, and that's great though, because I love the thing about, speak your truth, whatever the situation is, and especially that me time in the morning too, or that time for yourself. What is everybody out there? What is your routine? And so with the Mentor Studio, you're hearing from people who have been successful in many different ways, and at the same time have learned a lot of lessons because things have crashed at the same time, right? We've all had that. That would have been one of those questions, but Esther already addressed that. Look what happened in her life with her early on career and kept moving forward. But that time for yourself is really critical. And I think that makes a big difference. And if you looked at your life in the next, now you have a little one, so there's no way to predict this. But, if you really look at your business life in the next 5 years, where would you like yourself to be?
We're doing really well. But the market expanding of our ecosystem, being more known by, not just the small business owner, entrepreneur, or marketer, but also the big corporations and big organizations. And I really want to give back. So I want to start our own foundation and really help children in need. I want to stop bullying, and by better communication and understanding, I think we can do a lot in school systems. We're already in some universities, and we actually see there that when they apply what we teach them, that the suicide rates are going down. So I'm really passionate about the next generation. Help. I'd be bullied as a kid because I'm an identical twin. And you say, why are you getting bullied because you're an identical twin? Because people didn't know who is who, and then people get frustrated. Kids get frustrated. So bullying is the easiest way. And we all have been bullied, or we were the bully. And I think that if we can teach kids to communicate and understand that people are different and that it's okay, then I think we can really impact the world. So that's really my passion, and I'm very anxious to be involved in stopping the sex trafficking that's happening, because that hurts my heart. Like, I cannot even explain how sad that is. And it's outrageous. The numbers are crazy, and there's not enough exposure on it, and not enough, highlighted. Right now, other things are more important to certain people. And I truly believe we have to change the agenda of what's most important in the world. But, that's a big task. I'm not saying that's going to happen in the next 5 years, but that's really where I'm driving from the inside our business forward.
Good. I love that, because I love to, I talk about being of service, and the events that I run, there's always that of service component within anything that I do. And I love to hear that, because I know you guys are too. That's a very, very, you get into the build mode and you're going. But then you look at that, what's that other side, and how am I being of service to other people? Yes, my business is, but then there's a bigger picture, and that's what you just painted, that bigger picture. Can you talk about, while being an entrepreneur, what it is and what it means to be of service, and how that can change one's perspective even on the days you don't want to get up and do it again?
I have those days too, but I learned along the way to just shift that right away. Like, okay, why I'm in this mood? Like, I'm tired. Yeah, okay, newborn, I wake up twice a night. Like, okay, that's okay. And okay, it's okay to be tired. Go to the beach and get over it, right? So I learned to spank myself. I think as an entrepreneur, it's an interesting journey. Like, there are a lot of ups and downs, and I think getting a strong self-care and a strong self-love is the basis of everything. Moving forward, I think, that's an interesting question. I think it's strong to at all times be you. I think that's and it's easier said than be done, because there's so many influences. But I learned, like, I really don't care what people think of me. Like, there are many reasons people can have a lot of opinions about me. And I learned, like, I'm gay, I'm a women-owned company, like, I have a Dutch accent, like, I can keep going on and on. I don't wear makeup, like, I have all these comments coming to me all the time.
Right.
You cannot be attached to what people say and do. And so I think that's a very short answer to your question, but I think self-esteem and self-love are the key things, anything in life. And as an entrepreneur, the things that have been hard is being the push downs and people taking advantage of you, taking your money, taking your, the things you do out there in the world to do good. And then as an entrepreneur, like, you just have to get back up again. Like, quitting was never an option in my life. And I had to learn that mindset. It's not something I was born with, because if I look at my family, they're all quitters. They all have a poor money mindset. So I had to work on a lot of things, trust me. But it's possible if you really want it, then you just make that happen. And I made it non-negotiable. I was going to change the legacy of my family and change how they are operating. And I will be a great example for my nieces and nephew. And now I have my own child that, everything is possible. And I think as an entrepreneur, it is hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's absolutely not easy. If it would be easy, everybody would be a millionaire, right?
Right. That's right.
No, it is not easy. And just own it that it's not easy. And, I say something, damn, it's hard. Why am I doing this? Right. And then I think about back in the day when I had my 9-to-5 job and I thought, oh no, I don't want to have that again. That's not going to happen. No, flashback. No, you just go back to the pain, what hurt worse than the pain I feel now and then in this business, right? So I always go back like, what hurt worse? No, the 9-to-5, no.
Yeah, and I don't ever want that again. Cubicles, remember cubicle? Even offices, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's crazy. I had that too. Yeah.
But you're right. You're right too. Just I'll let you finish. It is that because you have a little one now, right? Nieces and nephews, and we do that for our family. But you have a little one, and for me, grandkids and my grandkids have really become this legacy piece. I get up because I look at them and I'm like, what world am I leaving them? And I'm sure you're having that even more today than you ever did before.
Oh yeah, of course. Like, my heart expanded 1,000 times since he was born, and I had no idea, because people told, "Oh, your life is going to change. Your heart is going to get bigger." Now we will see. And then, of course, he's there. He was 10 weeks early on top of that, so it's also very special to have those 10 weeks bonus. That's how we look at it, and then 6 weeks NICU. But it creates a whole different perspective on everything we do. And that's why I became even more passionate about going, how can we help young kids instead of just helping the entrepreneurs and business owners and big corporations. My real passion is helping, the education system is totally messed up around the world. Like, it's everywhere the same. I got taught like 30, 40 years ago, they get the same content today. Like, it's just so messed up. Like, it's not good. So we have to teach them communication, and we have to teach them entrepreneurship, and we have to teach them relationships and, the real things in life. And so if we can just add a little bit flavor to it, then I'm going to be happy. But, it's not an easy journey, but I'm not going to leave this planet until at least I reach some impact.
Oh, and it's funny you say that, because but you still have a long way to go. So don't worry, you're not going anywhere. Because you have impacted a lot of people if you just look at some of the work you've done. And it's great, because the other thing too is you did shift, and your company shifted, and you were sort of moving that way anyways. But virtual is the way it is, because even as everything goes back, and eventually it will, it always does, the world readjusts. What we're trying to train and let people know is still have that virtual component. Whatever kind of business or store or whatever you're doing, have the virtual component, have the membership site, have the things that create passive residual income, so you're not always stuck in this rat race. And the entrepreneur world is awesome, and it's hard, just like you said. And we have to look at ourselves in the mirror every day, don't we?
Oh, yes.
So and even when you have people around you on the same journey, you still, right? It's just one of those things, but it's the best thing I ever did. I know you guys are just loving every minute of it. And it's got the other side. And you now have a little one that will take that to the next level. So I wanted to thank you for being on today. This is awesome that you're willing to take your time because I know your call schedule. So if everybody knows between the new little one and the call schedule, yeah, this took like 2 months, but this is worth every minute of it. So, because it's not, and Esther knows she's not just busy to be busy. Trust me, she's creating this dynasty with Sherry, and now you got a little one to be right there behind you. I think it's just awesome. Any last words before I let you go? And then also, how can they connect with you if somebody says, I need to know more about what she's talking about?
They can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn, Esther Wildenberg, and then you see blonde, short hair. That's me. They're not
you are
that
pretty
many,
easy to find. Right.
They're not that many Esther Wildenberg, so it's very easy to find me.
Oh, that's great. And then everybody, too, just to let you know, when we do the blog notes, Esther's name and all her information will be in there, too. So don't worry. She'll be easy to find.
you can find me.
Yeah, that's easy. And for those of you who are on the call today, don't forget to go to thementorstudio.com. Check out the other podcasts we've done. I've done so many, I don't even know who I just did. And coming up here in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be actually talking with Jim Britt, who I love dearly. We need to get him on more stages again. I mean, he was Jim Rohn's partner. For those of you who don't know what any of that means, they did train Tony Robbins to do what he does. And so, this is Jim is from the personal development from many, many years ago, but he's still brilliant at what he does and what he teaches. And then we'll probably have Todd Fisher on, obviously Carrie's brother, and we'll go back and talk some entertainment at that point. But thank you so much, Esther, for being on. This is great. You are an amazing inspiration because of what you went through, how you continue, and you still live life fully and have a great day every day. And then you have the other days and you get through it. So,
it's very short. I learned it's a choice how you show up and how you move on. And I can be sad if something happens, or I can be not really in the mood. But then, I learned to really turn that switch different direction. I don't want to have a day like this. This is exhausting. It's not going to do any good for anyone. So take a cold shower, jump on your Peloton bike, do whatever it takes. But, you're the only one who can turn it around, and it's a choice. Everything you say, you do, how you show up is a choice. And so I learned a long time ago, when you're positive and happy, life is so much better.
Oh, I agree with you. I am so there with you. Well, this has been a pleasure. I've known you for a long time, and I've watched you guys grow, your company grow, the stage work grow. You just jump on the stage and own that stage. And I want to thank you so much. And please send my love to Sherry and the little one. And for those of you, again, it's been a treat to have Esther on today. And for myself, the Mentor Studio, and everybody listening to you today, Esther, thank you so much. For those of you listening again, go to thementorstudio.com. All the shows are there. We also have the YouTube channel. And I want to thank everybody for being on. So whether it's your morning, afternoon, or evening, whether it's 2020 or 2024, and you're listening to this right now, just have a great day. Connect with us, and we're there for you. Thank you so much, audience. And Esther, thank you again.
Thank you so much, Michael. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye, Esther.
We're honored that you invested time with us today at the Mentor Studio. Now, don't be greedy. Share this knowledge bomb with all your dope peeps on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Actually, we'll even pay you to do it. To get the deets, please check out thementorstudio.com.